Hi everyone, welcome to our channel, and today I will explain the Form 4 Chapter 3 in the Mathematics. So in this chapter we will learn about what is the statement and negation and or statement, implication, converse, inverse, contrapositive, and find the true value and the argument. So in this chapter we will separate to the two sections which are statement and argument. So let's move on. The next, we will see what is the statement. A statement is a sentence of which the true value can be determined that is either true or false, but not both. So the important thing is for the one sentences can be determined for the true or false value, but not both. So that means in the one sentences can only have true or either is false value. So let me see the example. The example 1, a keyboard have add vertical is a true statement. Okay, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is a keyboard. And vertical is the point for something like here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is a true statement. So let me see the example B. Elephant can fly. We know elephant cannot fly, right? So this is a false statement. So look at the example here. So we determine that is the sentences or not. So the first one, this is a not sentences because for the y we do know what's the value that, so this is not a sentences. So second one, this is a sentences because we can directly find the answer and we know that is true. And the third one, so this is a sentences, this is a statement, but this is a false because we know that the answer is wrong. So this is the statement. How do we run or how do we process? So second one, we will look at the negation. What's the negation? Negation is very easy. So we will using the not and no for the statement. So for example, I am a boy. If we want to do negation, I'm not a boy, something like that. So yeah, this is the negation. So we look at the example A. A capital of French is Paris. So when we want to change its standards to negation, we add the not in the sentences. So let's move on. How do we determine the true value of the converse statement? So for this, we will combine two or more sentences by using and or word. So for example, all dog is mammalia, or and all mammalia have hair. So we can using and or to compound the sentences. So let's move on to the implication. For the implication, we will using if dot 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 then dot dot dot. So in the front we will using P and the back side we will using Q. Where's the P? Where's the Q? P is a antecedent and Q is consequence. And for the example, we will have two questions. For the first question, they will give you two sentences and you need to construct in the one implication sentences. For the second example, they will totally give you one implication sentences and you need to construct two sentences. So we look at the example first. For the A, in the first is P, the second one is Q. So we will using if and then to complete the sentences. So this is the answer. So very easy in this question. So for the second question, for the second example, they will give you implication sentences, and you need to construct in the two sentences, right? So in front is P, in the back side will be Q. So here is P, here is Q. So we fill up the sentence in these two blank. So you will get the answer. So we will continue to the implication in the true value. So that will have converse, inverse, and the contrapositive. So for the converse, that will in the inverse of the statement. I mean like this, okay. If P then Q, converse will be like this. Q first, then P. And the inverse will be at the negation. And the contrapositive will be using converse plus inverse. So that's all. Next, we will see an example for here. So here I have converse, inverse, and contrapositive. So we do some summary for it. Statement is if P then Q, right? For the second one, converse, we will inverse that, and the inverse will be put it in the negation, and the for contrapositive, so we'll converse and put negation. So let's see if it snow, the temperature is below the freezing. Here is P, here is Q. For the converse, it will be the ballet. And the second one will put it negation. The third one also will put in negation, but and also is inverse. So we will continue to determine the counterexample to the negate the true or particular statement. For the false statement, at least one counterexample can be given to negate the true of the statement. So for the first example, some prime number are even number. This is true. Okay. What is the prime number? Prime number is which number can be divided by 1 or themselves only. So for example, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 30. This all is prime number. And even number, they will be in 2. So this is the true. Next, rectangle is always square. So this is a long. So we will put false. And let's move on. We will go into argument. What is the argument? Argument is the process for making a conclusion based on the statement is known as argumentation. An argument can consist of several premise and one conclusion. And the premise statement is a statement give the information before making a conclusion, and a conclusion can outcome or a decision. What's the difference between deduction and induction argument? A deductive argument is a process of making specific conclusion based on general premise. Inductive argument is a process of making general conclusion based on the specific premise. So the difference is general premise and specific premise. So let's move on. We're going to see the example question. So the first example question is the following argument deductive or inductive. So all cats have frog is the premise one. The second one is frog fly is a cat. So for the conclusion is frog fly is frog. So this argument is deductive because we're using the general statement for the premise 1 and specific statement in the premise 2, and the conclusion necessarily follow the from premise, making it a valid argument. Second example is the following argument deductive or inductive. So the first one is every duck I have seen can swim. So for the conclusion, then for all ducks can swim. So for this argument is inductive. It uses specific observation. Every duck I have seen can swim to reach a general conclusion or that can swim through the process of the inductive reasoning. The conclusion is not necessarily true, as there could be ducks that cannot swim, but it's still a strong argument based on available evidence. So that's all for this chapter, and thank you everyone. If you like our video, please subscribe, like and comment at the below. We will do better than before. Thank you everyone.
Bye! Bye!